Israel storms into Deir Al-Balah. Ground troops enter for the first time since war began. Hostage fears mount as tanks roll through a city once seen as off-limits. In the north, aid turns deadly. 73 Palestinians killed seeking food. Gaza burns, diplomacy stalls, and the war enters a new, dangerous phase. The Israeli military has announced it will begin ground operations in Deir Al-Balah, marking the first time the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, have entered the central Gaza city since the start of the war. On Sunday, the IDF issued evacuation orders for civilians in southwest Deir Al-Balah, urging them to move south toward the coastal area of Al-Mawasi, which is already sheltering hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians. According to IDF spokesperson Colonel Avichai Adrai, the military is expanding operations into new territory to destroy Hamas infrastructure and combat capabilities. The IDF emphasized that the area has not previously been targeted by ground troops, although it has been subject to airstrikes throughout the conflict.
To all those present in the southwestern area of Deir Al-Balah, in blocks 130, 132, 134, 136, 139, 2351, including those inside the tents located in the area. The Defense Army continues to operate with great force to destroy the enemy's capabilities and terrorist infrastructure in the area, as it expands its activities in this region to operate in an area it has not operated in before. For your safety, evacuate the area immediately and move south toward Al-Mawasi.
Deir Al-Balah had largely been spared ground incursions due to assessments that Hamas may be holding Israeli hostages in the area. The Hostage and Missing Families Forum expressed concern following the announcement, questioning whether the expansion would endanger the lives of those still in captivity. In a statement, the group asked,
"Can anyone promise us that this decision will not come at the cost of the loss of our loved ones?"
According to Israeli estimates, at least 20 of the 50 remaining hostages taken during the October 7th Hamas attacks are believed to still be alive. That attack killed around 1,200 people and saw 251 others kidnapped. In February, 3 hostages were released in Deir Al-Balah during a ceasefire, underscoring the city's potential significance in hostage negotiations. The new IDF operation comes amid ongoing ceasefire talks in Qatar, where Israel has accused Hamas of stalling its response to a recent proposal. Meanwhile, intense fighting continues across Gaza. In northern Beit Hanun, Israeli forces reported the demolition of 2.7 kilometers of underground tunnels used by Hamas.
Overnight, the IDF demolished Hamas infrastructure in northern Gaza's Beit Hanun, amid an ongoing offensive against Hamas there. A video from the Israeli border community of Netiv Hassara shows the large explosions that shook the region just after 3 a.m.
As evacuation orders were issued, Gaza health officials reported dozens killed on Sunday near aid distribution points. Hospitals in the south have also reported fatalities from similar incidents. The IDF said it had fired warning shots at individuals who approached its troops and failed to respond to verbal warnings. Meanwhile, international pressure is also mounting, with Pope Leo XIV calling for an immediate end to hostilities and condemning the use of indiscriminate force, days after a strike hit Gaza's only Catholic church. The United Nations too has warned that famine is worsening across the Strip and has called for an urgent scale-up of humanitarian access. At least 73 Palestinians were killed on Sunday while attempting to access humanitarian aid at multiple locations across the Gaza Strip, according to the territory's health ministry. The deadliest incident occurred near the Zikim crossing in northern Gaza, where 67 people lost their lives and more than 150 others were wounded, many critically, local hospitals said. The Israeli military acknowledged opening fire on a crowd in the north, stating that soldiers had targeted individuals who posed a threat. However, it said that the casualty figures reported by health teams in Gaza were significantly higher than what its initial assessment had found. The military added that it was facilitating aid entry into Gaza and accused Hamas of fostering disorder and putting civilians at risk. 7 more people were reported killed in Khan Yunis, including a 5-year-old child, after strikes hit tents housing displaced families. Medical staff at the Kuwait Specialized Field Hospital confirmed receiving the casualties, but said it was unclear whether the deaths were caused by Israeli fire, armed groups, or a combination of both. Witnesses claimed Israeli soldiers had fired on the crowd in northern Gaza, though these accounts could not be independently verified. Aid organizations noted that the violence did not occur near the official distribution points managed by the Gaza Humanitarian Fund, a US and Israel-backed group. Nonetheless, humanitarian workers say multiple incidents in recent weeks have seen civilians killed while seeking food. Meanwhile, the Israeli military issued fresh evacuation warnings for parts of central Gaza. The order is expected to significantly disrupt movement between central and southern parts of the Strip, including the key cities of Rafah and Khan Yunis. The United Nations is seeking clarification on whether its facilities in the affected area are included in the evacuation zone. A UN official said previous orders have excluded UN buildings, but warned the latest directive could hinder aid operations. Ceasefire talks in Qatar are continuing, but remain deadlocked. Israeli officials maintain that military pressure on Hamas is necessary to bring them back to the negotiating table. With tanks entering Deir Al-Balah for the first time, the war in Gaza enters a perilous new chapter. Fears for hostages grow, diplomacy stalls, and aid convoys turn deadly. As humanitarian crises deepen and ceasefire talks falter, Israel's expanding offensive risks triggering broader chaos, fueling a cycle where each escalation moves peace further out of reach.